Hello there. Let's start with a bit of Ouspensky. Ouspensky says this: when leaving Petersburg at the start of my journey, I had said that I was going to seek the miraculous. The miraculous is very difficult to define, but for me this word had a quite definite meaning. I had come to the conclusion a long time ago that there was no escape from the labyrinth of contradictions in which we live, except by an entirely new road, unlike anything hitherto known or used by us. But where this new or forgotten road began, I was unable to say. I already knew then, as an undoubted fact, that beyond the thin film of false reality, there existed another reality from which, for some reason, something separated us. Very interesting from Mr. Ouspensky. What is it that is separating us from the real reality? Where is the other road? We are born in this society and we are taught a way to live. And people, our society, is always talking about improvement, about progress, about going somewhere. But as you get older, you start to see that society is not going anywhere. What's wrong with this picture? Something very serious is wrong. Human beings have taken a step forward from the animals, and it has opened up, for the first time, free will and the possibility of having a soul. And it's like nature has woken up in the guise of man, and suddenly a vast amount of things are available and possible. Too much, in fact. And it is as if existence has been quietly creeping, quietly growing in the subconscious world for millennia, for eons, quietly growing subconsciously. But in man, and especially with the transmission brought into this world from Christianity and from other traditions, a new sense of ourselves has been born. And we can start to see things. And what we have to see is everything that has been created in the dark world before, that is inside of us. All those habits, the mind, the unconscious, those traits, those things that we hide, insincerity, carnality. There is a very, very, very large job to do now. Because so many things are suddenly visible, it's really quite complicated to talk about it. In terms of Ouspensky's question, why are we disconnected? What is it that separates us? What is it that separates us? Well, one of the answers to that is that he having developed his intellect, is looking through the upper story. He sees the world through the upper story, which is active in him. Because he was particularly well developed in his intellect, he sees through the upper story. But he is not inside the upper story. It is only shallowly available to him. The upper story works, but only outwardly. He is not sitting inside of it. So that is a problem. He is a mixed being. And it's a painful journey and a confusing journey. The idea that you should keep calm and carry on, or that you should water the soil. Spiritually, what this means is that being halfway into the upper story and being in a state of disorientation and confusion that human beings are in, then one approach is simply to water the middle story and the lower story. What does that mean, to water the middle story and the lower story? What does that mean? Well, it means to love your mother and father, your nation, your family, your race, your people. It means to honor them and honor the world. Although you are reaching upwards, you are not anywhere near being able to live from there. And so don't try too hard. Go home and live a quiet life. Let the rice be cooked slowly. Nourish the soil. Nourish the earth. Look after your family. Live simply. Keep calm and carry on. And certainly, because our society has many tricks where people live and die following orders and procedures and mechanizations, make sure that your hands are your own. You think your own thoughts, and you feel your own body, and you perform your own actions, and you live from your instinct. You do not go to work and follow the flow chart. You live like a proper man, like a proper creature of nature. Don't try to take shortcuts. The pain of thinking for yourself and feeling for yourself and trying to express yourself, trying to learn, that pain is the price of being a good person. If you go to work and you're given all sorts of procedures that you have to follow, like a dog, then you're worse than a dog. The upper story is slenderly available, but he cannot really enter it. It's not ready for that. He can use it to think, but then it's frustrating, and we are as it is in heaven, so shall it be on the earth. That line in the Lord's Prayer is exactly where we are. We are trying to unify heaven and earth. That is where we are. It's difficult because we have to work. We have to try and create, try and be, try and enter our faculties, all the while nourishing the earth, never forgetting the earth, never decoupling ourselves from the earth. And yet, when we try to use our higher faculties, it will inevitably fail and collapse. But something will have been learnt and will have returned to our soil. We are climbing a treacherous mountain and entering something unknown. We have to do it ourselves, and we will fall off and hurt ourselves, but there is no other way to climb. even if you have guidance from a spiritual teacher, which I hope you do, even if they connect you to something, you cannot climb through somebody else's words. You have to attempt to exert yourself and to live from your initiative and to develop your own wounds and heal from your own wounds. There is no way to avoid that. There is no way to avoid that. Turn the ship around and sail straight into the storm. That is the price, because the goal is high. The goal is heaven. Even if you go to church every day and receive the light from a good priest, a reasonable priest, then you go into the world and you do your best and you try to exert yourself and try to make something good, straighten the line, clean something up. And it will all fall into the earth again, just as your body will. But something will have been learned, and one more step will have been taken. That is how to learn. As Gurdjieff says, the worse the conditions of life, the more possibility of growth. Assuming that you wish to work like Gurdjieff worked, he worked the land, he worked in his shop, he did many things. For him, doing meant doing. Merry Christmas.